Hi, I just want to share a few minutes about Charlotte Mason's words about teaching Latin. And again, I just have to say, I had my notes for this, my thoughts for it, and um, I was going to be reading from my pink Latin Charlotte Mason volumes, and they were packed without my knowledge. So I had to find these quotes online. Thankfully, everybody does keep so much Charlotte Mason online for us these days. Anyways, Charlotte Mason did think that Latin was an easier way to teach and understand grammar, and also just the English language. She says in volume 1 that in this respect, Latin grammar is easier. A change in the form, the shape of the word, to denote case is what a child can see with his bodily eye, and therefore is plainer to him than the abstract ideas of nominative and objective case as we have them in English. So, like so many other things that Heather has already talked about with Latin grammar, um, for a child, seeing that the word changed and therefore it means something else in the sentence is a lot easier for them to understand. So that's just in a lot of ways, it's just an easier entry to grammar than it is to just study English grammar by brute force. Um, let's see, Charlotte Mason considered Latin part of the feast. This is part of what we're trying to lay for our children. Um, she says here in volume 3, you will see at a glance, with this captain idea of establishing relationships as a guide, the unwisdom of choosing or rejecting this or that subject as being more or less useful or necessary in view of a child's future. So she's saying, um, don't look at your child and say, oh, they're only going to become this or that, and therefore Latin won't be useful for them. She said, don't do that. It's not wise. We decide, for example, that Tommy, who is 8, need not waste his time over the Latin grammar. We intend for him for commercial or scientific pursuits. What good will it be to him? But we do not know how much we are shutting out from Tommy's range of thought besides the Latin grammar. He has to translate, for example, pueri formosos equos vident. He is a ruminant animal. So this says the boys sees beautiful horses, and he has been told something about that strong Roman people whose speech is now brought before him. How their boys catch hold of him, how he gloats over their horses. The Latin grammar is not mere words to Tommy, or rather, Tommy knows, as we have forgotten, that the epithet mere is the very last to apply to words. Of course, it is only now and then that a notion catches the small boy, but when it does catch, it works wonders, and it is more for his education than years of grind. So we don't know which of you might be putting dozens and dozens or hundreds of sentences before your children before one of them catches. But when one of them catches, Charlotte Mason reminds them it's worth more than years of grind. So don't deprive your child of part of the feast. This is part of the feast. And I know I had other quotes that I wanted to bring to you today, and I'm sorry that I don't have them. I'll have to be another video for another time when my pink volumes come back to me. Um, it is meant to be immersive. Charlotte Mason saw things differently than what was going on in the Latin was taught often in the schools in her day, but it was more of the rote memory kind of Latin. But she wanted it to be immersive, and she wanted it to be beautiful. So in volume 6, she said, Latin is taught in the House of Education by means of narration, of course. And after each section has been thoroughly studied in grammar, syntax, and style, the literature, not just rote grammar, studied, increases in difficulty as the pupil advances in grammar and etc. Nothing but good Latin is ever narrated, so the pupil acquires style as well as structure. The substance of the passage is usually reproduced with the phraseology and the style of the original, which sounds so much like regular everyday narration, right? The style and phraseology included, and both students and children learn what is really Latin and realize that it is a language and not a mere grammar. So she wanted something more for the kids than what was being seen in the schools at that time. Um, that Latin's not just a grammar, but that it's a language taught by people who lived, and that it is beautiful. It's meant to be beautiful, and it's meant to be more immersive, and it's meant to be studied in in like more of a literature form, not just flashcards and drills. So again, I know I had more quotes, and I'm really sorry, but this is just to get you a start of some of Charlotte Mason's ideas. There's so much more out there, um, and um, but Charlotte Mason did believe in Latin for our kids, and I think that's something we need to hold on to.